Hey, I want to tell you about this obscure little title, Galaxian. No, not Galaga, you goof. Galaxian. Galaxian is the predecessor to Galaga and was a huge technical breakthrough for arcade games. With fancy colors and smooth moving galas, this game was a huge step forward from the game that inspired it, Space Invaders, which came a year prior. What the heck were you doing, Taito? So it made a bunch of technical innovations, but that's not what I'm here to talk about, even though I just did. I'm here to talk about the design. In this game, you can't just spam away. No. Back in the day, we were given one shot to fight an army, and until that shot hits something or moves past the screen, which takes forever, because the future invented slow lasers, you are defenseless, with nothing but your maneuvering to rely on. This makes Galaxian slow and methodical, which is very much complemented by the action with the galas. There are basically three types of galas: the basic greens, drifter purples, daddy issues red, and pimp gold. The greens are just plain Janes that do the usual. The purples go all swiggly swoo. The lonely reds always try to escort the pimp, but fly solo when there's none around. And the pimp gold always brings either 2 or 1 reds, when there is any, for shields. Then there's the phases they're in. Staged, just going back and forth at the top of the screen. Shooting, where they come down to shoot you up. And kamikaze, where they try their best to tackle you down, American football style. So that's the core of the game. It's pretty basic, but how they work together is just so beautiful. Shooting. It may be annoying to jump down to one shot at a time, but you gotta appreciate what you got, and appreciate what it does for this game. Usually, the offense and defense of shooting is fused together, but in Galaxian, you have to choose between whether to commit to offense or defense. You're forced to switch between defense and offense with your single shot. You constantly need to make the on-the-spot decision of, is it safe enough to keep firing, or should I hold on to it to protect myself? This is also complemented by the slow movement speed. You can't just react last minute because you're just so slow. It takes like 10 seconds to get to the other side. This forces you to focus on the whole screen as a whole. Good script writing. You have to pay attention to which galas are moving down, where their shots are heading, where the galas are while flying down, what arc they're gonna fly from, where your ship is, what spaces are safe for now, your spacing with the wall. All this just to defend. And you haven't even made a single shot yet. And shooting is just as hard. The shots are so slow that you have to carefully aim each shot with where you are, where the gala is, where they're going, knowing the shot speed, and how fast they're moving. And it's a pretty tall screen to eyeball each shot. One mistake, and you can lose a life, and they're not given so easily. And those things are squirmy. There's enough space between the galas while they're staged that you can constantly miss. The struggle to balance offense and defense is hard to adjust to when most games let you do both at the same time. God dang AAA spoiling their players. The struggle to balance the two makes it such a hard game that no one has been able to max out the score like in Pac-Man. If there even is a point for that. It's a pretty small game. This makes a game with such a high skill ceiling that the game is not just testing your skill, but also tests your endurance and consistency. You can shoot up each gala one after another, but if you think you can just make that shot on the pimp, you messed up. Good job. You need to learn to condition yourself to know the limits you have, while also perfecting your skills and training your endurance. If you have no skills, then that's a quick quarter waste. With skill and consistency, you could go on forever, but you're gonna need an orange for endurance. You really do. The world record took 7 hours. I can't even make it 10 minutes. All these mechanics that are put upon you to go against are completely fair. Everything that happens to you is entirely your fault. In the game, in Galaxian. If you think the game is unfair, then you're wrong. You're just bad. The game has very strict rules that it follows and a few precautions to keep everything fair, with nearly no RNG. So, no complaining. So just shush and accept that you're a failure in the game. How the attacks begin is very noticeable and reactable. They take a good second or two to make a little loop and charge into you. This is about the only RNG in the game. Which one attacks? They always shoot once they pass the front lines of the galas, and only take 3 shots. After that, no more shooting. And how they move is entirely based on where you are. The startup is determined by where you are relative to where the gala is horizontally. I don't know about vertically though. Probably does. Then the arc is always at the center, and is always influenced by where you are at that point. You literally control the enemies and their every move. You don't have anyone to blame but yourself. You moved them there, and you ran into those shots. You don't see those self-sacrificing guys who jump in front of a shot, then turn to the guy they were aiming at, and be like, "Why didn't you move?" Then, there are 2 little special inclusions to keep the fairness even more fair. When a gala arcs onto the side of the screen, the developer knew, we can't let that come back and kill a player. That'd be rude. So they decide to just send them back. Out of sight, out of mind. Then, there's a gold that carry over to the next stage if you don't kill them and let them pass at the end. Nothing but a harmless inclusion that has a player go, "Oh, that's where it went." It can be seen as a punishment for letting them escape, and can barrage you with even more galas, but still gives you a chance to redeem yourself and gain the lost points. I'm looking at you, Mr. Secret OP mechanic reward after a blatant failure Galaga. Oh yeah, a third one, but I'm too lazy to re-record the first part of this section. When the pimp brings along his escorts, he always takes those that are side by side. If you mess up and only kill the middle red, then you just screwed yourself, cause you just made a triple kill on them a lot harder. And they were giving you the generosity for an easier time at the start, but you just had to ruin it. For shame. In summary, this game is near perfect because the game has rules that bend to the player. You're basically playing a game by yourself with no AI to fight. Unlike Tetris, with its 5 S pieces in a row, everything in the game is yours to control, and your own actions and consequences of those actions you need to adjust to. So go and play Galaxian for a bit. If you can find it. That game's lost to the grave of ROMs. So this video was advertising a long gone game. Oh well. Later, Gator.